I thought I knew the woman I lived with. Smart, disciplined, goal-driven. She made spreadsheets for her weekend hikes. So when she said the bachelorette party was just tapas and cocktails, I believed her. She even kissed my forehead before leaving. What I didn't know was that the same night, she was on her knees for a guy dressed as a cop. And someone filmed everything. She laughed in that video. Not drunk. Not ashamed. Just proud. So I didn't yell. I didn't confront. I simply made sure her dream job saw it first. Her name was Kayla. We'd been living together for a little over 2 years in a small but nice apartment in Portland. 2 rooms, 1 dog, and 1 silent agreement. We weren't rushing into anything, but we were committed. Shared bills, shared groceries, shared future plans. That kind of thing. She worked in design, but she wanted more: corporate branding, big clients, prestige. For months, she'd been preparing for a career jump, updating her portfolio, working on case studies, even taking online workshops late at night. I helped her where I could, proofread her emails, fixed her laptop when it crashed, listened to her pitch decks like I was the CEO she wanted to impress. I wasn't just her boyfriend. I was her unpaid hype team. I wasn't perfect, but I believed in her, and I trusted her. So when she told me she was going to her best friend's bachelorette weekend, I didn't blink. 2 nights, nothing wild, she said, tossing a sleek overnight bag on the bed. Just some tapas, dancing, maybe a rooftop bar. You'll survive without me, right? I smiled, nodded, kissed her goodbye. She even left a little note on the fridge. Don't forget to feed Ralph. And yourself. Red heart. Saturday night came and went. I stayed home with our dog, watched dumb action movies, ordered too much Thai food. I even laughed, thinking how boring I'd become. But I liked it that way. I liked us. Sunday evening, she came back looking tired but cheerful. Hungover, maybe, but nothing felt off. She wrapped her arms around me and whispered, "Missed you." We ordered pizza and watched some Netflix. Life was normal. Until Wednesday. I got a message from Bree, one of Kayla's friends I barely knew. She said it was an accident, that she thought Kayla had already deleted it, that it was supposed to be private. Then she sent a video. At first, I didn't understand what I was looking at. There were flashing lights, music, laughter, the usual chaos of a party. Then the camera steadied. Kayla, standing in the middle of a circle of women. A man in a fake cop uniform. Shirtless. Tan. Muscles for days. He said something I couldn't hear, and she laughed. Dropped to her knees. Everyone screamed and cheered. Phones out. Cameras rolling. Her hands were on him. His hands were on her head. And she smiled like she was in charge of the whole room. The video cut off. I sat there, holding my phone, staring at the screen like it had just cracked in half. No one else was home. Just me and Ralph, who pawed my leg like he could tell something shattered. My first thought wasn't rage. It was humiliation. Not just because of what she did, but because she let it be recorded. Because someone else had to send it to me. Because I had to watch it instead of hear it from her. I didn't say a word that night. Not to her. Not to anyone. But something inside me had already decided. She didn't deserve a fight. She deserved a future that remembered that video more than her resume. And I knew exactly how to make that happen. For hours, I just sat there, replaying the video. Again and again. It wasn't graphic, not technically, but it didn't need to be. The way she smiled. The way she looked up at him, like she was proud of the attention. That did more damage than anything physical. There was no hesitation. No drunken stumble. No look of oops. She was clear-eyed, perfectly balanced, perfectly aware. At one point, she even gave a little thumbs up to someone recording. That broke something in me. I wanted to believe it was some kind of joke. Maybe a dare. Maybe she panicked. Maybe the video was edited. I watched it 5 more times trying to find something. Anything. That would make it feel less real. Nothing. I didn't sleep that night. I lay awake next to her. She curled into me like nothing had happened. Her leg found mine in the dark. She sighed, content. Meanwhile, I was staring at the ceiling, trying not to vomit. At 4:30 a.m., I got up, walked the dog, and sat outside with a cup of stale coffee. I couldn't look at her. I didn't want to see the face from the video, not in my kitchen. Not smiling over pancakes like it meant nothing. By morning, something in me had hardened. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to let her flip this into a relationship talk, where she ends up being the victim of my reaction. I wanted her to feel what I felt. Not through confrontation, but through consequence. That afternoon, she got a call about an interview. The one she'd been chasing for weeks. The dream job at an elite branding agency. Huge salary. Full creative freedom. She screamed when she got off the phone. They want me Friday morning, she beamed. I'm actually going to sit in front of the board. Like, pitching to the board, babe. Can you believe it? I said, that's amazing, and kissed her forehead. And in that moment, the idea hit me. It wasn't fully formed yet. It didn't come with fire and fury. Just cold clarity. If she wanted to pretend this never happened, fine. But I wasn't going to pretend she still deserved everything she wanted. That night, while she slept, I found her presentation folder on our shared drive. It had her full resume, the pitch deck, and the company's contact info. I copied the files to my phone. Then I opened a private tab and searched how to send an anonymous tip to HR. But that was just the beginning of my nightmare. The video was bad enough. But what got me spiraling wasn't just what she did. It was how easy it was to find out more. 2 days after I got that message from Bree, I noticed something strange. Kayla left her iPad unlocked on the couch. Not rare, not weird, we trusted each other. But a notification popped up. It wasn't from Bree. It was from someone named Maddie, another one of her friends from the Bachelorette. It read, OMG, I still can't believe you actually did it. Face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy. Queen energy. That man was fine. My chest tightened. I tapped the screen. Normally, I wouldn't snoop. I hate that feeling, like I'm digging in the trash. But now, I was already covered in filth. So I kept scrolling. There was a group chat labeled Last Ride Crew. 12 women. Dozens of messages. Photos. Inside jokes. And video clips. I opened one. Then another. And another. There she was, Kayla, dancing, grinding, laughing, doing shots, flipping the bird at the camera. One clip showed her sitting on the fake cop's lap, whispering something in his ear while the other women cheered. Another clip showed her licking something off his abs. But the one that really messed me up? A short video. 6 seconds. Just her face. She looked directly at the camera and said, if he ever sees this. I was drunk. Okay. Then winked. I dropped the iPad. That wink. That smug, premeditated wink. It felt worse than the rest. She knew. She knew what she was doing. She knew there was a chance I'd find out. And she pre-packaged an excuse, like a PR team ready for a scandal. That's when I realized she wasn't sorry. She never planned to be. She just assumed I'd either never find out, or I'd forgive her because she's cute when she fake cries. I felt nauseous. This wasn't a mistake. It was strategy. And suddenly, it wasn't just about me anymore. I thought of her upcoming job. How she talked about being a female leader, a professional brand builder, someone who values transparency and trust, all while planning her alibi in case a lap dance got out of hand. She didn't just betray me. She betrayed everything she said she believed in. That night, I didn't sleep again. Instead, I started collecting. Not out of revenge. Not yet. Out of clarity. Screenshots. Chat backups. Saved videos. I created a private folder and named it Interview Materials. I wasn't sure what I'd do with it yet, but I wanted to be ready. And I wanted her to see, one day, what I saw. The version of herself that didn't deserve to be trusted. But I wasn't ready for what I was about to discover. I thought I had seen the worst of it. I thought the video, and that disgusting wink, was rock bottom. But I was wrong. The next day, while Kayla was out grocery shopping, I went back to the chat. I wish I could say I did it out of curiosity. But the truth? I was looking for pain. I was digging through the wreckage of my own relationship, trying to find anything left to respect. I found the opposite. One message from her friend Heather said, "Can't believe you actually pulled that off, face with tears of joy. Poor guy's probably at home brushing the dog Aaron." Another from Taylor. "Send me the clip where you kneel. I'm putting that in our wedding reel, LMFAO." But the worst one? A screenshot. Someone had taken a photo of me. From Kayla's Instagram. Me holding Ralph. Wearing her hoodie. Hair a mess. Just smiling, unshaven, totally at peace. Kayla had captioned it. Meanwhile, the photo was posted during the party. They were laughing at me in real time. Not just cheating. Not just betrayal. It was mockery. Public, social mockery. They treated me like a punchline in a group performance I never auditioned for. I stared at the screen, frozen. That image of me, peaceful, soft, loyal, set against what she was doing in that other room. It made something inside me burn. Not with rage. Not yet. But with clarity. I wasn't in a relationship. I was in a game I never agreed to play. I went back through Kayla's messages with one of her old co-workers, a woman named Sloane she once called the office gossip. I remembered Kayla had said something like, I told Sloan I'd never settle. Just gonna play men until I'm ready. At the time, I laughed. I thought it was a joke. Now, I wasn't so sure. In one DM thread, I found this. Girl, that was iconic. Did he say anything yet? Kayla's reply. Not a word. Either he didn't see it, or he's just too sweet to leave. Win-win, smiling face with halo. Win-win. She called me a win-win. I stood up too fast and almost knocked over a chair. That's when it hit me. She didn't respect me. She never did. To her, I was safe, harmless, forgiving. And people like that, in her world, were useful until they became boring. I was boring now, but I wouldn't be quiet. And I sure as hell wouldn't be useful anymore. I sat down at my desk, opened her resume again, pulled up her job application email draft, the one I had helped edit. The company's HR director's name was at the top. And in that moment, I knew what I had to do. But this went so much deeper than I thought. I thought I was dealing with one night, one bad decision, one moment she could, maybe, pretend didn't define her. But then I saw the message that changed everything. It was buried deep, not in the group chat, but in a separate thread between Kayla and her best friend from college, someone named Lexi. They hadn't talked in months, and that made it worse. Kayla had sent her the same video I had seen, followed by a message that read, Round 2, baby. Lexi replied, LMAO again? You are going to get caught one of these days. Again. I just sat there, rereading that one word over and over. Again. There was a first time. Suddenly, everything went fuzzy. My thoughts, my hands, the air. I couldn't remember what day it was or what I had planned to do next. I just knew I needed to find out what the hell that meant. I went back through old messages, emails, photo backups, anything with a date. I pulled up her Google account, which we had once synced by accident and never unsensed. That meant I still had access to some of her old location history. There it was. A weekend trip she said was girls only in Lake Tahoe, about a year and a half ago. I remember that weekend. She told me there was no service, but she'd send photos later. And she did. Group selfies, spa day, wine on the balcony. But now I knew where to look. I cross-referenced her messages from that weekend. Found a deleted text from Bree, the same one who sent me the video, that said, he was hotter than the groom TBH. Kayla replied, dead serious. I almost broke my own rule that night. Rule? What rule? She'd never mentioned any rule to me, because I wasn't supposed to know there were rules. I thought we were in a relationship. She thought we were in what? A loyalty-optional contract? My face went cold. I looked around the room, saw the framed photos we took on our second anniversary. Her smiling with our dog. Her holding my hand at the beach. I thought of the night she said, I feel so safe with you. Safe. No wonder. I wasn't a man to her. I was a harbor, a soft landing between chaos and ego. I thought of all the little moments I'd brushed off over the years. Her disappearing for hours during girl brunches. The nights she came home giggly and way too dressed up for an indoor wine night. The way she always brushed off questions with, don't be paranoid. She'd been doing this for a long time. And I let her, because I believed the image she sold me. But now I saw the version of her that wasn't curated, wasn't filtered, wasn't smiling for my benefit. I saw the version of her that mocked me while I fed our dog. And suddenly, sending one email to her future job felt like a mercy. She was building a brand on lies. And I wasn't about to let her launch it. I spent sleepless nights planning. Finally, I knew what I had to do. The moment I decided to act, I thought I'd feel powerful. I didn't. I felt sick. Every morning, I'd wake up next to her and pretend everything was normal. She'd kiss my shoulder, joke about our dog hogging the bed, sip coffee in my hoodie like nothing was happening. And I'd smile, nod, play the part. Meanwhile, inside, I was unraveling. I kept replaying one question in my head. What does it cost to destroy someone? Because that's what it would be. Not a slap on the wrist. Not a petty jab. If I sent that video to her future job, to the people she idolized, the firm she called everything I've worked for, it wouldn't just hurt her. It would nuke the very identity she had built. And she wouldn't see it coming. I pictured her sitting in that interview, confident, eloquent, professional, talking about brand integrity and values. Meanwhile, some intern opens the anonymous file marked Kayla Reed, applicant review. They click play. They see her in a short dress, kneeling between cheers, blowing kisses at a fake cop. Her face glowing with pride. How fast would they shut the laptop? I wanted it. God, I wanted it so bad. That flash of humiliation. The silent phone. The confused messages. The panic when no one calls her back. But something pulled at me. What if it's too far? What if I become the thing I hate? Vindictive, cold, manipulative? What if I'm not better than her? I thought about just walking away. Quietly. Leaving a note. Ghosting. She'd wake up one day and find the apartment empty, my name gone from the lease, the dog with me, her ring sitting alone in a kitchen drawer. But that would make it too clean. Too easy. She'd cry to her friends. He just left. She'd rewrite the story. He was insecure. Controlling. Boring. And they'd believe her. They always do. The guy who walks away looks weak. The guy who lashes out looks bitter. The guy who smiles while cutting your parachute? That's the one they never see coming. So I made a list. Option A. Do nothing. Leave her. Heal quietly. Let karma do its thing. Option B. Send the video. No context. Let the footage speak for itself. High risk. High reward. Option C. Wait until she gets the job. Then leak it. Maximize the impact. That one made me pause. It felt surgical. Precise. Evil in a way I didn't know I was capable of. And yet honest. But I wasn't that cold. At least, not yet. In the end, I chose something in between. I created a new email. Bought a VPN. Scrubbed metadata. Made sure the clip was just long enough to tell the story, but short enough to raise questions. I didn't want to ruin her forever. Just long enough for her to know what it feels like. Then I scheduled the email. Friday, 9 a.m. Same time as her interview. The subject line was simple. Applicant Kayla Reed, professional concern. No message body. Just the video. And then I waited. I thought it was over. I couldn't have been more wrong. Friday morning came, and she looked radiant. Hair curled, blazer crisp, subtle makeup, professional but glowing. She had rehearsed her presentation so many times the night before, I could recite half of it by heart. Her laptop was charged. Portfolio printed. She kissed me twice before leaving. "You're my good luck charm," she said, smiling like she had no idea what was coming. Maybe she didn't. Or maybe she was just that good at pretending. The door closed behind her at 8:12 a.m. At 8:58, I opened the email account I created. One final check. The VPN was still on. The attachment loaded. The subject line sat there, neutral and cold. I hit send, without hesitation. I didn't feel joy, not even satisfaction. Just silence. Like the world had paused for a second, and all the oxygen left the room. I stared at the message sent screen for a long time. Then I shut the laptop and walked the dog. It was a quiet morning. Crisp air. Leaves starting to turn. Ralph trotted ahead of me, sniffing at mailboxes like nothing was wrong. I kept thinking about that line. "You're my good luck charm." For a second, I felt guilty. Not because I regretted it, but because I had to become someone else to do it. The guy who plays dirty. The guy who calculates. The guy who smiles while aiming the knife. She texted me around 11 a.m. Interview went well. 3 exclamation marks. They said they'll follow up next week. I think I nailed it. I stared at the message, then locked my phone. I knew what was happening. They hadn't opened the email yet. Or they had, and didn't connect it to her. Maybe it went to spam. Maybe no one cared. Or maybe she had nailed it. For the rest of the day, I couldn't think straight. I replayed the interview in my head, over and over. Her walking into the boardroom. Her speaking confidently. Her future being handed to her. All while my little grenade sat in someone's inbox, unexploded. What if it failed? What if this was her redemption arc? By Saturday morning, I was losing it. She was dancing around the kitchen, making pancakes, talking about new apartment listings and what city they might send her to if she got the job. "What if they move me to New York?" she laughed. "Would you come with me?" I nodded, smiled, said something about bagels. But I was drowning inside. I didn't want to be in New York. I didn't want to be anywhere near her. I wanted to stand up and scream. "You humiliated me, and I watched you smirk through it." But I didn't. Because somewhere, deep down, I still hoped that email had done something. That maybe on Monday, the silence would crack. That maybe karma just had a delay. That night, I opened the email account again. There was a reply. Just one line, from a generic HR address. "Thank you. We've reviewed the material." No greeting. No signature. But that was all I needed. I closed the laptop and took the deepest breath I had in weeks. It was over. I had done it. She didn't know yet, but the damage was done. Or so I thought. What happened next made me question everything. Monday came. She was up early, pacing the kitchen, pretending to scroll social media but constantly checking her inbox. I didn't say much. I poured coffee, fed the dog, and watched the performance. At 9:34 a.m., her phone pinged. She froze, eyes locked on the screen. Her face didn't move. Not for a second. Then, a blink. A swallow. A quiet huh. She sat down, stared at the phone like it was lying to her. They said, "Thank you for your time, but they're going in a different direction." She didn't look at me. I played dumb. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense. You said it went great. It did. Her voice was thin, tight. They were smiling, taking notes. I even made the head of strategy laugh. Maybe they picked someone internal. I offered. She nodded absently, but I could see it. That crack in the surface. She wasn't buying it. Not really. All day she was off. Quiet. Distracted. She kept rereading the email like it would change if she blinked enough. By evening, her mood had changed. Not sad, sharp. She started nitpicking small things. Why hadn't I folded the laundry? Why were we out of eggs? Why didn't I remind her to follow up with the recruiter again? I kept calm. Neutral. I was watching the fallout from a safe distance, like a man behind bulletproof glass. By Tuesday, the suspicion had arrived. She asked, casually, "Did you see me post anything dumb recently?" I shrugged. "No, why?" "No reason," she said, too quickly. That night, she brought up her ex. Totally out of nowhere. "You don't think Alex would do something, right?" she said, faking a laugh. "I mean, he was a little crazy." I just blinked. "You think he sabotaged your interview?" "I don't know," she said, pacing now. "He always said I'd regret leaving him. And he knows people. I mean, not in marketing, but..." I let her spiral. I didn't feed it. I just watched. Then, on Wednesday night, she asked me the question I knew was coming. "You didn't see anything from that weekend, did you?" I acted confused. "What weekend?" She paused. "The Bachelorette." "Oh." I sipped my water. "Why would I?" She stared at me, long and hard. I stared back, like I had nothing to hide. She broke first. "Just wondering. People were filming a lot. I don't want anything getting twisted." "Twisted how?" "Never mind." I nodded. "Okay." She didn't sleep that night. I could hear her phone buzzing under the blanket. She was reaching out, digging, asking questions. By Thursday, she was a mess. Hair unbrushed, makeup half finished, clothes wrinkled. She left the apartment for hours, then came back with nothing but a blank stare and a bottle of wine she didn't drink. I knew what was coming. She wasn't stupid, and if no one else would tell her the truth, she'd start turning over rocks until she found it. What she did next left me speechless. Friday morning, 1 week after the email. She barely spoke to me all day. No jokes, no questions, just short nods and fake smiles. She was somewhere else, calculating, tracing every thread backward. I had seen that look before. Not in her. In people trying to solve a puzzle that keeps changing shape. That evening, I came home to silence. She was sitting on the couch, not looking at her phone for once. No wine. No Netflix. Just stillness. She said, "Can we talk?" I nodded. Sat across from her. She took a breath like it physically hurt. Then said, "Did you send something to the firm?" It wasn't angry. It wasn't defensive. It was already broken. I waited a beat. Then said, "What do you think I did?" "I think you saw something." Her voice cracked. "And I think you waited. And you let me go in there thinking everything was fine. And you let me humiliate myself." I raised an eyebrow. "Let you?" She blinked hard. "Okay. You didn't let me. I did it. I know. But I didn't think it would go that far." I just looked at her. No sympathy. No response. Just space. She said, "It wasn't what it looked like." I tilted my head. "You sure?" She looked away. "It was stupid. Everyone was drunk. It was a joke. I didn't sleep with anyone." "That's your line?" I asked quietly. "I didn't sleep with him?" She stared at the floor. "I saw the video, Kayla." She didn't move. "I saw the chat. I saw the wink. I saw what you wrote to Lexi." Silence. Her hands were shaking now. "I saw you make fun of me. While I was here. With our dog. Wearing your hoodie. Thinking I was part of something real." She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. So I kept going. "You didn't just mess up. You made me into a joke. A placeholder. A convenience." "No," she whispered. "Yes." Her eyes were glassy now. "I never meant to." "Spare me," I said, standing up. "You meant all of it. The video. The chat. The lies. You just didn't mean for me to find out." She didn't follow me into the bedroom. She didn't say another word. She just sat there, breathing like someone had punched her in the ribs. I packed a duffel bag. Not everything, just what I needed. I left Ralph with her. For now, I didn't want the dog caught in this moment. At the door, she finally spoke. Are you really doing this? I turned, looked her in the eyes for the last time. You already did it, Kayla. I'm just the guy who stopped pretending. And I walked out. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew exactly what I was leaving behind. A week passed. I stayed at a friend's place, sleeping on a worn-out futon, drinking too much instant coffee, and waking up at 3 a.m. every night with my heart pounding like I'd forgotten something important. But I hadn't forgotten anything. I was just detoxing from someone who'd made lying feel like breathing. Kayla messaged me 3 days after I left. Can we talk? I ignored it. Then, I didn't know how to fix it. I panicked. But you matter to me. Still nothing. By the end of the week, she switched tones. You can't just disappear like this. We lived together. We were a team. I almost laughed. A team. Like I was ever on the same field as her. Finally, I responded. One message. Measured. Final. I'm not coming back. You don't have to keep explaining. I understand exactly who you are now. I just didn't want to believe it before. You should move on. She replied within seconds. That's it. I didn't answer. She tried calling. I let it ring. Then came the voicemail. Her voice was breaking, strained, too fast. I get it, okay? I messed up. I was stupid. I thought it was funny. I didn't think you'd find out. I didn't think it mattered that much. But it does. I see that now. Please, just let me talk to you. Please. That please sat in my ears longer than it should have. But it didn't move me. Because I remembered every second I spent trying to believe in someone who laughed behind my back. I remembered what it felt like to smile at her while she planned her next lie. I went back to the apartment on Sunday afternoon. She wasn't there. I packed the rest of my stuff. Clothes, tools, a few books. My name was still on the lease, but I didn't care. I'd call the landlord later. Ralph ran to me like I'd been gone a year. Tongue out, tail wagging, eyes wide with relief. I didn't hesitate. I clipped on his leash, filled a small bag with his things, and took him with me. As I was locking the door, Kayla appeared at the end of the hallway. Winded, pale, eyes wide like she'd seen a ghost. You came back, she said softly. No, I replied. I came to finish. She looked at Ralph, then back at me. You're really taking him? He's not your souvenir, I said. He's my family. I loved you, she said. I nodded. I know. In your own way. She stepped forward. Can we talk? We are talking. I mean really talk. I looked her dead in the eyes. There's nothing left to say. I let you build a lie around me. I let you turn me into furniture. I forgave things I didn't even understand yet. That's over now. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stood there, as I turned away and walked down the stairs. The air outside felt clearer than it had in months. And as I strapped Ralph into the passenger seat and drove away, I realized something. I didn't need revenge anymore. She already did the one thing I never could have planned better. She became the woman no one would ever fully trust again, not even herself. It's been 3 months. I'm living in a smaller apartment now, on the edge of town. It's not fancy. The windows stick in the summer, and the fridge hums a little too loud, but it's mine. And it's quiet. Not the kind of quiet that feels empty. The kind that feels earned. Ralph adjusted faster than I did. Within a week, he had his favorite spots mapped out, under the window in the morning, near the heater at night. He still perks up when he hears heels in the hallway, as if expecting her to walk through the door. But she doesn't. She moved out of the old place after I took my name off the lease. I never asked where she went. Don't care. I heard through a mutual acquaintance that she didn't get any follow-up interviews after the rejection. She's back freelancing, posting motivational quotes on Instagram, pretending she's unbothered. Sometimes I wonder if she knows it was me. I think she does, but she'll never say it, because saying it would mean admitting she earned it. People like her don't say things like that. They reframe the narrative. They tell themselves you were bitter, weak, unstable. It's easier than sitting with the weight of their own choices. I've replayed everything in my mind more times than I'd admit. The emails, the chats, her face in that video, the way she looked at me when I finally told her. I saw it all. And the most painful part? I didn't miss the sex, or the comfort, or even the routines. I missed the idea of who I thought she was. I missed the fantasy I built around her, the ambition, the drive, the shared plans. But that woman never existed. I built her in my head, brick by brick, because I wanted her to. Once I accepted that, everything else got easier. I haven't dated since. Not because I'm broken or bitter, just quieter. Watching more. Listening better. Taking my time. I've become someone I trust again. That's something. Last week, I passed by the firm she wanted to work for. Big glass building downtown. Her dream, in steel and light. I didn't feel proud. I didn't feel anything. I just kept walking. I used to think closure meant confrontation. A dramatic final scene. Someone begging, someone explaining. A full circle moment. But real closure? It's just not needing the last word anymore. I don't need her to say sorry. I don't need her to cry. I don't even need her to remember me. I remember me. The version of me who believed. The version of me who kept giving. The version who let silence speak louder than screaming. And I like that guy. I think I'll keep him around.